Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotara Shata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotara Shata Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, नर्मदा माई की जय। All glories to the sum of the bodies, Hare Krishna. All glories to the sum of the bodies, Hare Krishna. All glories to the sum of the bodies, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dharati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranavami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamin Niti Namane Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you all for coming to our visit to Narmadapuram. It's also, well, maybe not you, but it's my first time here. So I'm not the right person if you have questions about Narmadapuram or Narmada Nadi. But we can take this opportunity to associate with devotees and to hear about Krishna and to chant about Krishna and to make spiritual advancement. It's a good opportunity to make spiritual advancement. And those who are intelligent, they look for these opportunities. So thank you all for being intelligent. Already you're very intelligent because you're all coming from Manad, right? Yes, so Manad, you have to be intelligent just to be in Manad. But of all of the students of Manad, those who are interested in spiritual advancement, those are even more intelligent. So such people are very, very rare. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. So what does this mean? That among thousands of men, only a few will desire for perfection. And among those few who desire for perfection and actually attain it, only a few will actually attain me. Only a few will actually understand Krishna. So many are on a spiritual path, and those people are rare. But even within those on a spiritual path, those people who are aiming towards Radha and Krishna and Goloka Vrindavan, These are the most rare because this is the highest level of spiritual realization. So you're all very intelligent. Thank you very much for coming and engaging your intelligence in spiritual activities. You've been proven to be expert at engaging your intelligence in material activities, passing your exams, learning your mathematical formulas and grammar and all of these different things. So you've already proven yourself in that way. So now prove yourself to Krishna. Use your intelligence for spiritual activity. And this will be the perfection of your intelligence. So many intelligent people are there, and so many so-called successful people are there who have become successful by using their intelligence. But only those who are actually successful can be happy in this world. And actual success means becoming a devotee of Krishna. This doesn't take a big university degree. This doesn't take a high-paying salary. This doesn't take a big family, being born in an aristocratic family, or being born in India, or being born in a Hindu family. This is not dependent on anything material. This is something which is spiritual. So the topic of discussion today is, okay, spiritual life is important, but why do we have to do it now? We're still young. We still have so much time in our lives. Why do we have to worry about these things now? Why don't we just worry about our university? Why don't we just worry about our job placement, our family, our money, our body, our friends, our cars, our bikes, our country, our world? Why don't we worry about these things now? And then by the time we're about to die, then we can become serious about spiritual life, right? Maybe you've heard this from some people. No, you can become a sadhu when you're old, but now you have to work, you have to get married. These things are fine. You can work, you can get married, you can go to school, but the message that we are trying to give as members of this Krishna consciousness movement is that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, just add Krishna into your life and you will become happy. And specifically, we're interested in inspiring the youth to do this. Why? Why? Does anybody have any idea what's the importance of this? Somebody can offer some, you're all intelligent boys. You're thinking about these things now. Why do you think it's important to take spiritual life in your youth? Nobody? So either you agree with me and you think that it is important, but you don't know why, or you don't think it's important, or you don't really care. And all of these things are not good. You should understand this. You want to say something? Today's youth is tomorrow's leaders. That's true. Today's leaders are also today's leaders, and they should also cultivate spiritual life. Yes. Maintain focus in our life. Focus should be on Krishna, not on studies. If we're doing Krishna consciousness for focusing on studies, then we're doing it for the wrong reasons. Few ideas are here, but it's pretty clear. We don't really know why we're here. Somehow or other, we felt inspired to come to Narmadapuram today, to come to the ISKCON temple here, and to hear about Krishna. And this is very nice. Still in India, the culture is there, where people are inclined to hearing about these things, to going and bathing in holy rivers. You know, these things are very nice. The problem is we don't know why we're doing it. The culture is there, the tradition is there, the philosophy has been lost. So why are we all in university? Anyone want to tell me why you're in university? Also, you don't know why for that? Just blindly following? Huh? Getting a degree? No, but what is the immediate effect? Every day you're going to school. What are you getting every single day that you go to school? What are we going every single day for? Long-term effect, we might get the university degree, we might get the job placement. Ultimately, we want to get money. No, we want to get a good job, get good money, have a happy family, happy life. These are long-term things. What is the immediate reason why we're going to university? Anyone know? For knowledge, right? This is what education is for, correct? This is what education is for. So why aren't the universities full of a bunch of old people? Anybody know? They can also learn things, no? Why is it only the youth that are involved in this education? Have you ever thought about it? No? Youth is the time for education. Psychophysically, it's easier to learn things while you're young. For instance, all of you here understand what I'm speaking right now. You understand the English language, no? Probably because you've heard the English language since you were young, right? The boys sitting back there, they weren't hearing English when they were young. So now if they try to learn English, it will be more difficult than you who were hearing from when you were young, correct? Yes? This goes along with any kind of knowledge. Any kind of knowledge. Your culture, your tradition, the way that you speak, the way that you dress, everything, our whole life is molded around the education that we are receiving from the very moment that we enter this world, actually. And there are certain events which happen in our life which transform the way that we think. It transforms the philosophy by which we live our life. And it ultimately transforms the whole outcome of our whole life. These are called samskaras. In Vedic culture, certain samskaras are performed. Yes, like the Garbhadhana samskara. This is a samskara which is performed by your parents before you're even born, actually. It's meant to attract a pious living entity in the womb of the mother. And then after the child is born, the samskara is there of eating the first grains, yes, of having the ear pierced, yes, of having the spiritual books placed on one side and having the money placed on another side and seeing which the baby will go towards. This will indicate what direction he will go in his life. In Vedic culture, there are so many hundreds and hundreds of samskaras. Samskara means impression upon the mind. It's not just a ritual which we're blindly following. It's meant to leave an impression upon the mind. Just like whenever you get married, all of you have been to a traditional Vedic Indian marriage ceremony. Yes, probably. All of the rituals that are going on there. This is to make a very solid impression upon the mind of the bride and the groom, the husband and the wife, so that for the rest of their life, they remember that today was the day that we took vows to become husband and wife, and we will never leave this position. We have made these vows. This is how serious it is. This is a day that we cannot forget. These deep samskaras are very important in Vedic culture. Therefore, education is very important in Vedic culture. Real traditional Vedic culture. This is not the modern Indian culture that we're seeing today. This is not the modern educational system that we're seeing today. This is not real Vedic samskara. Sri Prahlad Maharaj. Everyone know Prahlad? Yes, everyone know Narsingha Bhagavan. So everyone knows Hiranyakashipu. Where is he? Narsingha is there. Hiranyakashipu is not there. Hiranyakashipu is trying to run away right now because Narsingha is very angry in this form. Ugra Narsingha. So Hiranyakashipu is not seen currently, but very soon he will be on the lap of Narsingha. And the son of Hiranyakashipu is Prahlad, a very great devotee of Krishna. Devotee of Nrsimha, what Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagatisha Hare. Nrsimha is Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj is a very nice devotee of Krishna. And he was in school whenever he was just a young boy, 5 years old maybe. He was in school, surrounded by many of his peers, friends. During their break at school, they would have a break. The kids would go and play. You need to take your phone call. So while they were taking a break from their education, most of the kids would like to go and play. They'd like to play games. They'd like to tell stories, pretend, imagine. This is what kids do, right? This is what children do. But Prahlad Maharaj, he was preaching to those boys, no, you've got it all wrong. From the very beginning of your life, you should cultivate Krishna bhakti. You should become a devotee of Krishna. You should cultivate your spiritual life. You should make advancement in spiritual life from the very beginning. Why? We're just speaking about samskaras, no? The education that we receive in the beginning of our life will set the standard for our knowledge for the rest of our life. And according to our knowledge, we will act differently in this world. Those who have knowledge of let's think. Those who have knowledge of viruses that spread in the air from people to people, they're more cautious when touching things and putting their mouth on things, and they avoid the dangerous things, no? Yeah. Similarly, those with spiritual knowledge, they know how to behave in this world. They know what is right. They know what is wrong. They know what not to do. They know what to do. They know what is religious and what is non-religious. They can distinguish the difference between these two. And ultimately, they know the difference between matter and spirit. They can tell the difference between these things. From knowledge and illusion. They can see the dualities of this material world because they are situated on a platform of oneness. This word is used a lot in spiritual talks, no? Oneness, becoming one, experiencing oneness. What does this mean? It's very vague, no? The platform of oneness that a devotee experiences is that which is beyond the dualities of this material existence. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada. Summer, winter, hot, cold, happiness, sadness. These are dualities which we're experiencing in the material world. A devotee is not bewildered by these things. Shitoshna sukha dukkada agama payino nityastam stitikshasva bharata. Krishna says that we should become transcendental to these things. This is the platform of oneness. Whenever our consciousness is absorbed in Krishna, in devotion, recognizing ourselves to be a devotee, a servant of Krishna, then we're able to navigate in this world without being bewildered by the dualities of this world. What is that? Towards the end of the 7th chapter. Who's the Shlok Pandit here? Any Pandit? Bewildered by the dualities of this material world. Such people, they do not attain Krishna. So this is the education. This is Vedic education. Making deep mental impressions at a young age, which will help us navigate through our life in the future. Because this world is full of traps. It's full of traps. And especially material life and the family life. This is called a blind well in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is called a blind well. A blind well, everyone knows well, is a deep hole in the ground, right? A blind well is one that has not been used for a while, so the grass and the bushes, they grow over it. You can't see it so well. So while you're walking through the forest, it's very easily fall inside of the well. This is a blind well. We don't even see it coming. But one who has received proper education and spiritual knowledge, they know how to identify the blind well. The blind well no longer becomes blind. They can see the dangers of material life. It's said that this spiritual life, the path of spiritual life is paved with many thorns, bushes with thorns that can poke us. We have to very expertly navigate. through spiritual life. or else we can very easily fall down into the bewilderment of material existence, by which we are subject to birth, death, old age, disease, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanu, darshanam. Krishna says that recognizing these faults, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanu, dukkha, seeing these dosha. What is dosha? What's the word for dosha? Imperfect. These problems. Seeing these things as problems, I consider these things to be knowledge. Krishna says like that. One can fall into a deep dark well, and he can try to live very happily down there. He has a little bit of water because it's a well. He might run some electricity down there so he can play his Xbox. And he might even, some other people might fall and he might start a family down there. And they think that this is the highest happiness of life, is to just live in our little well. But this is the philosophy of Mr. Frog. Anybody know about Mr. Frog's philosophy? Yes? Maybe? Mr. Frog is always living in a deep, dark well, and he's thinking that this is everything that I need. I'm completely happy here. I have my water, there's some insects which I can eat. But then one day, another frog comes from the top of the well and says, Mr. Frog, what are you doing down there? Come out here. There's a whole ocean outside, actually. So Mr. Frog thinks, ocean? What is this ocean? Oh, it's very, very big body of water. You can't imagine. Mr. Frog is thinking, is it twice as big as my well? Maybe 3 times as big as my well? The other frog says, no, 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 you don't understand. It's so much bigger. Is it 100 times bigger than my well? No, no. So Mr. Frog is thinking this is not possible. Mr. Frog becomes more puffed up as he's thinking about how big the ocean is. He puffs himself up to try to think, maybe 2 times bigger than my well, 3 times bigger than my well, 4 times bigger. Mr. Frog becomes so big that he explodes. He becomes so puffed up that he explodes. This is the puffed up mentality of those who are attached to material life. They can't imagine that there's real happiness outside of this in spiritual life. Therefore, while you're young, educate yourself about the world of Krishna consciousness. There's a whole other world out there. This is like what these scientists are telling us, that there's other planets which are capable of sustaining life in faraway galaxies. There's other universes. So many things are out there. But Krishna says that this whole material world is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukhalaya. Everyone knows Himalaya. Himalayan mountains, yes? What does Himalaya mean? Him means snow. Yes, snow, ice. Alaya means completely full. Everything you see is him, snow, ice, Himalaya. Similarly, this material world Krishna calls Dukhalaya. Just like you go to Himalaya, all you see is ice and snow. You come to the material world, all you see is Dukh. We want Sukh. We are Ananda Chinmaya. What is that? Anandamayo Bhyasad. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Krishna likes to enjoy. He likes to be happy. So therefore in Vrindavan, he does so many things to be happy. He's playing with his friends. We have all these nice pictures surrounding this temple room of Krishna enjoying in Vrindavan. Krishna's enjoying holding Nanda Maharaj's chappals. Krishna's playing with his friends on the swing. Krishna's playing his flute. Krishna's lifting Govardhan. He's herding the cows. He's eating. Krishna loves eating. Anyone like sweets? Yes, we like eating. Krishna likes doing all these things. We also like doing all of these things. The difference is that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, We are just part and parcel of Krishna. Anandamayo Pyasa, that is Krishna. We're always searching after Ananda. And we are part of Krishna, very small part of Krishna. So we also have this tendency to search for Anand. So in our search for Anand, we do so much nonsense. We do these same things that Krishna is doing, but because we're not Krishna, we don't get the real happiness from it. And because we're not Krishna, we practically cannot do most of these things, like lifting Govardhan. How many of you can even lift this table with your pinky? What to speak of a whole Govardhan hill? No? Krishna is the supreme. We are just but small, small parts, jivatmas of Paramatma. You see? So we also want this Ananda, and we do so much nonsense to try to find this Ananda. We also have our friends. We also go run through the forest. Maybe not so much anymore. Now we might play video games with our friends. We might chat online. We might come together. We might drink something that'll make us feel some Ananda. No? Hopefully you haven't experienced this, but this is becoming much more popular. Intoxication for the purpose of experiencing some happiness, because regular life is just too dull, no? They're recognizing this life is dukkhalaya. Let us have something, gives us some ananda, no? Let us have something else. Coming up with so many different things. There are some low-class ways of enjoying, like intoxication, bidi, so many different things. There are some more high-class forms of ananda that we try to get in this world. Therefore, we go to the universities. Technology, no? Artificial intelligence. What's the whole purpose? What is it? Ananda. Yeah, we're searching after this. How can we make some machine that will help us enjoy life more? I'm tired of cleaning my house. How can we make a robot that we don't have to pay any money, we don't have to give any food, we don't have to teach him everything, we just program, put some electricity with the battery pack, he goes and cleans my house. Now I can spend my time doing what I like to do. Ananda. But even then, everyone is so disappointed. No? It's been going on for thousands and millions and trillions and gazillions of years in this material world. This is the classic story. But the modern man has not learned. They go their whole life searching for this happiness. They think that ananda comes from enjoying their senses of the body. So they taste something which is sweet. This is anand for the tongue. They hear some nice sweet music. This is anand for the ear. They see some beautiful woman, anand for the eyes. Smell some nice flowers for the nose. Touch something very soft, like the skin of a young woman. Anand for the skin. What to speak of the belly and the genitals. Searching after anand for all of the different senses of our body. The problem is, we are not this body. We are spiritual living entities. We're like spiritual sparks. And this body is like a vehicle. Yantra. What is that? Yantra rudhani mayaya. How does that verse begin? Ishvaro. What is it? How does that verse begin? No pundits here, huh? Yantra rudhani mayaya. Krishna says that the living entity is forced to travel all throughout this universe on a vehicle which is made of the three modes of material nature. Three guna. Everyone knows these three modes of material nature. Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Sattva-guna. Everything that we're experiencing made of matter is made from a combination of these three modes of material nature. This is matter. And then whenever something is considered to be living, it also has the same ingredients. This table, what's the difference between, say, this table and the tree which is living outside? Same ingredients, no? Both are made out of wood. What's the difference? Sorry? This is in Krishna's service, but for the sake of, this is a wooden table. The tree is made out of wood. We don't think that this is a living entity, do we? The tree we know is living. Why do we think like this? Who wants to say?
We can produce oxygen, but stable cannot.
We can what? We can produce.
They can produce oxygen, but stable cannot.
Can produce, sorry, what?
Oxygen. Oxygen.
Oxygen. It has some byproducts, yes? So there are certain symptoms by which we can tell something is living, right? First of all, it is born. It comes into this world. It is born, right? Next symptom is that it grows. This tree was very small before. It was just a sapling. And it grows, right? After it grows, it maintains itself for some time. And then it reproduces. Yes? All living things. We do this, animals do this, trees do this, insects do this, germs do this. Reproduces itself, maintains for some time, and then it dies. These are the symptoms of life. This is the difference between the tree, which is made of wood, and the table, which is made of wood. The table is not undergoing these transformations. If you sit this table in this room and you don't look at it, you don't touch it, you don't do anything to it, will it change? Maybe after many, 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 many years, after the wood starts to go to decay. But for all intents and purposes, this table will not change. Similarly, all material things, matter, all things made of matter, independent of the soul, independent of its connection with the soul, it will not act. There is never any case in the history of time where something material has undergone any of these transformations which we just discussed, unless it is in contact with the spiritual energy. That's the difference between matter and spirit. So we are spiritual living entities living in this machine. This body is like a machine. The body is changing. Dehinosmin yatha dehi kaumaram yovanam jara. Kaumaram, youth, yovanam, childhood, yovanam, youth, jara, old age. Kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuhyati. Krishna says that just how the human being is going from childhood, youth, to old age. Similarly, the soul, we're always passing through different conditions of life, but it's always remaining the same. There's one thing that is not changing, that is the soul. Who is that which is observing these changes? That's us, no? Everyone remember when you're looking at your hand and your hand was only this big. You probably have some memory. You look at your hand now, it's a different hand. But you yourself are the same person because you yourself were the one seeing that other hand, no? Same person, I'm seeing my hand. Now I'm seeing my hand, different hand. You look in the mirror. From a child, you look to an old man. He doesn't look like the same person at all. But the person is the same. One person, he gets hit by a train. He loses his arm. They cut his arm off. Does that make him less of a person? He's still the same person. His name was Rajesh. Do we call him Rajay? He lost his arm. Now he lost part of his person. Rajesh becomes Rajay. We drop the sh. No, it's not like that. Rajesh is the person. His body is different. Very basic. This is the basics. These are the ABCs of spiritual life, which Krishna is teaching to Arjuna in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna approaches Krishna with a problem. He doesn't know what to do. I'm in this world. There's so many problems. What do I do? Krishna, tell me, please. You are God. I am not God. I surrender to you. Please just tell me what to do. This is the situation. Krishna says, first of all, understand this point. You are not your body. And all of these other warriors on the battlefield, they are not their bodies. Therefore, you cannot kill them Their body may be slain, but the soul will live on eternally. And I am in control of all these things. Krishna is in control of all these things, not you. So these are the ABCs of spiritual life. Understanding that we are a spiritual living entity. We are different from this body. Therefore, we do not belong to this material world. Therefore, we are not meant for searching for Anand with our material senses. What is the conclusion? Okay, we're a living entity. We're eternal. We're not the body. We're not supposed to enjoy this world. Now what? What do we do? Many people come to the conclusion that now we should just become one, merge into the light, or even worse, become nothing. If there's no Anand, what's the point of existence? No? Might as well become nothing. If I have to live eternally, better to live in nothing than to live in dukh, right? Because all we have is experience of dukh. Dukhalayam, asukham, lokam. It's another name that Krishna gives this material world. Asukham lokam. This is our experience. We don't find happiness in this material world and we have frustration because of this. So what is the conclusion? Okay, I'm a spirit soul. I'm Jivatma. I'm not meant to enjoy in this material world. Okay, I understand. So I'll go run off. I'll leave everything. Forget everything. Try to become zero. This is not possible. Krishna says that the living entity cannot avoid activity. The soul is always active. This is the nature of the soul. You cannot cancel this. It is part of it. Just like water, just like the dharma of water is to be a liquid. Everyone understand dharma, meaning the intrinsic nature of something? Dharma sometimes mean religion, faith, tradition, like this. Dharma actually means the intrinsic nature of something. The dharma of water is to be liquid. Sometimes water becomes ice, sometimes water becomes vapor. But in its real, normal, constitutional position, it is a liquid. Similarly, the jiva. Sometimes it's acting like a human being, sometimes it's acting like a dog, sometimes it's trying to become nothing. Sometimes it's merging into the light and acting like nothing else is existing except for himself. This is not the dharma of the living entity, of the jivatma. You cannot separate the dharma from the jivatma, no matter how hard you try. And all endeavor to try, despite this fact, will end in frustration. So what is the dharma of the living entity? Anyone else? You said it quiet enough to where nobody else could hear. Does anybody know the Sanatana Dharma of the Jivatma? This word is used, Sanatan Dharma. Who here is a Sanatani? No? Yes. What is that? Garv se kaho. Hey, Hindu. Ooh. Whatever. I don't know how to say like this, but this is a pride, you know? Say with pride. We are Hindu. I am Sanatani. Yes? Who is Sanatani here? Yes? Yes, we are Sanatani. Yes. What is Sanatana Dharma? Tell me, no? Tell me. What are you doing? Rascals, just following blindly. You say, we're Sanatani. We know the truth. We're going the real path. Where are you going? What is the truth that you know? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? They won't tell me. What is this? That's why some American boy has to come and teach all the Indian boys because this is gone from India. What's the problem? The culture is there, tradition is there. So much nice. Tirthas are there. Narmada is here. No? India is such a nice place. Where is the philosophy? Where is the philosophy? You know it's Kali Yuga whenever an American has to come and teach this to those who are claiming to be Sanatanis. No? You know it's Kali Yuga. So think about these things. What is Sanatana Dharma of Jivatma? Nobody will tell me, no? What is it? Karma? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not meant for performing karma. Seva.
I want to say something.
Wait till the end. That's the point. The Jivatma is always a servant. We come to this material world, but still we can't avoid being a servant. How? Even in a gross way, with our own self, even if we're completely selfish, we're still having to serve our senses. Our mind is saying, "Oh, I really." Tongue is telling mind. Tongue is saying, "I want some sweet, something nice to taste." No, I want something sweet to taste. It tells the mind. Mind is telling intelligence, "Oh, use your intelligence to go find something sweet." Where will we go? Where we use our intelligence? How will we make money so that we can get some sweets from the shop? Where is the shop? How will we get there? How do I get my bike so we can go? Intelligence is engaged in serving the tongue. No? How will I go see something nice? So we take the train down to Tamil Nadu, see the beautiful countryside. So much service is there just for the eyes, for the ears, for the genitals. Just because we want to serve our genitals, look at all the trouble that we take. We have a nice house, have a nice car, get a nice job, so that we can have a nice family, so that we can enjoy sex life with our wife, no? Right? We're doing service to our genitals. Now, this is going on in America, and it's expected over there. Here in India, I'm seeing that people are keeping dogs. They keep it on a leash. They bring it inside their home. They feed the dog. They pick up the dog's stool. They put a polythene on their hand. They pick up the dog's stool. You've seen this? This is happening here in India. They're serving the dog. Kutta seva. We're not interested in serving dog. We're interested in serving God. You understand? We're not interested in serving genitals. We're not interested in serving ourselves. We're not interested in serving society if it means that we're not being able to serve God. If we are serving society and forgetting about Krishna, then this is not real service to society, actually. Real service to the whole world is centered around our service to Krishna. That is the most important thing. That is the Sanatana Dharma of the Jivatma. But we've forgotten this. It's not just you. It's not just Indians. In fact, Indians are the most aware of these things. Of everyone in the whole world, the Indian people are most aware of these things because the culture, the tradition, the education is somewhat there, but it's going away. So that's our mission. We're trying to reestablish Sanatana Dharma. And Sanatana Dharma is not a vague thing where you can do whatever you want to do, whatever you feel, whatever you like. Go and worship that tree, go and worship that stone, go and worship that man, go and worship that woman, go and worship that pile of poop. These things are going on. One famous Mayavadi impersonalist philosopher, he was challenged, saying that if everything is one, why are you sitting here eating such nice rice and dal? Why don't you go and eat the dog stool which is sitting on the street if everything is one? This philosopher was so adamant about his philosophy that he went and ate the dog stool off of the street. We are not stool eaters. We do not want to become stool eaters, no? We want to nicely taste Krishna prasadam. This is real enjoyment. Not that we become stool eaters. So this Sanatana Dharma is not something vague. It's not a do-it-yourself program where you get to make it up how you like, follow what you like, follow even your family. I'm just following what my family has been following for many generations. The tradition is being lost. It's not possible to simply follow what your father was doing. Because most of you, your father is also working a job. How much Krishna Bhakti are they doing? Maybe some of you, there's something there. We have to follow the example of acharyas. No, everyone know acharya. Srila Prabhupada is one acharya. Many acharyas are there. We can follow the teachings of the acharyas who reveal to us this knowledge. Therefore, they come to this world, they reveal the knowledge, they open institutions like this where we can have a nice facility to come and sit and have some education about these things. Nice facility, nice institution. Temples, mandirs, no? That's what it's for, education actually. So they nicely make these institutions. This is a temple by which we can serve Krishna. Meanwhile, those who are the opposite of acharyas, mityacharis. This is a Hindi word, no? You understand what I'm saying? Mityachari, pretender. These false people. These mityacharis, they open institutions. They offer some education. They give so many things. They make a nice big building, much bigger, much nicer than this one actually. What's the knowledge that we're receiving there? How to serve Maya, how to serve our senses, how to serve our family, how to serve our country. Not how to serve Krishna. They're not talking about Sanatana Dharma. They're not talking about the Dharma of the soul. They're not even acknowledging the soul. In fact, if you question them about the soul, they will say it doesn't even exist. This is how much an illusion they are. This much knowledge is not even offered in their institutions. This is the temple of Krishna. Those are like the temples of Rakshasas, of Asuras. So we have to be very careful. If we have education in spiritual knowledge, in Krishna consciousness, in Sanatana Dharma, then even if we have to enter into these Rakshasa mandirs, we will be protected. We know what is what. We know what is right. We know what is wrong. And we are fixed in our path. There's nothing that will change our mind. We have firm faith. Not blind faith. Faith based on practical knowledge, a foundation of real knowledge. This is what is needed. Or else very, very easily, we'll fall down into the pool of material existence where we become stool eaters in this life and in the next. In this life, we may eat stool and do similar activities. And in the next life, we will also be able to do such things. As a worm, as an insect, as a hog, as a dog. We don't want these things. Dukkha doshanu darshanam. We need to see the faults of this. We need to see the difference between matter and spirit. This is the importance of youth. Now we can learn these things before it's too late. Labdva sudurlabham idang bahusam bhavante manusyam arthadam anityam apiha dhira purnam yatetana pathed anumrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. Labdva sudurlabham idang bahusam bhavante. We have, upon attaining this human form of life, this rare, sudurlabha, rare human form of life, labdva sudurlabham idam bahusam bhavante manusyam arthadam anityam. It's very temporary. We have attained this rare human form of life after many, many births, but it's very temporary. Anityam. It's very short. At most, maybe 80, 100 years we have. Anityam apihadhira. Purnam yatetana pathed anumrityu yavan. So therefore, before we fall over and die, anumrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya halu sarvatasyat. We should take the spiritual life. Because this life of material enjoyment is available for the hogs and dogs who eat stool. It's available for them too. They're able to have family life. They're able to eat nice things. They're able to see nice things. They're able to travel, to see the world. You can become a bird and you can travel, at least in Europe, they have these birds. They travel to Africa in the wintertime because it's too cold in Europe. They go on vacation. Even as a bird, you can go on vacation. These things are available for the animals. Sense gratification. This is available for the animals. But you have the rare opportunity of being a human being. And not only being a human being, but it's very temporary. You don't have much time. Therefore, while you're young, dedicate your time to cultivating Krishna consciousness. Then you will be successful. Then you will actually experience ananda. Not just this falgu ananda. You'll experience nitya ananda, right? Eternal happiness. And serving Krishna. That's the whole point. We can only have this nityananda that we're searching for if we become fully situated as a servant of Krishna, fully reestablishing our eternal connection with the Supreme Lord. This is the only way. If you want to go somewhere where they tell you that you can do what you like, you can get a job, you can have money and family and house, and you can still do some Sanatan Dharma on the side, no problem, that's okay. And in your Sanatan Dharma, you can do whatever you like. You can worship dog, you can worship hog, you can worship this Baba, that Baba, you can worship whoever you like. Sanatan Dharma is everything. If you want to hear like this, there are Rakshasa mandirs where you can go and hear like this. But this place is meant for Paramahamsas, for swan-like people. What is the speciality of the swan? The swan is able to extract milk even if milk has been mixed with water. The swan does not drink just the water, he drinks just the milk. Even though the milk is poured in the water, mixed together, swan is able to extract only the essence, the sar, only the essence the swan is able to extract. This place is meant for Paramahamsas, swan-like people who are interested in understanding the essence. What is the most pure essence? And how will we attain that? Those who are interested in attaining this in this lifetime can take advantage of this Krishna consciousness movement. Very rare opportunity. And you can become involved starting from today. So starting from whenever you got connected with us. And through the rest of your life, whether you get a job, whether you have a family, whether you move to America, whether you do whatever you do, you'll have the education, you'll have the knowledge, you'll have the faith by which you will not be subject to all of this janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Because dukkha doshan darshanam, we see these faults. We're not affected by them anymore. We have become transcendental. We have become beyond the dualities of this material world. Everyone wants to be happy? No? Yes? Please say yes. Everyone wants to be happy sometimes or just all the time, right? Yeah. That's the problem. We can't be happy all the time in this material world. It's not going to happen. So let's go back to Krishna. Let's go back to Godhead together by the very simple process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very simple, very easy, very sublime. What is that? Su Sukham Kartam Abhyayam. Very simple, very sublime. So kindly join us. Very happy life. Becoming a devotee of Krishna, very happy life. Does anyone have any questions about this? Thank you very much for being attentive. You wanted to make a comment or question? Whatever you wanted to say was answered. Any question? No? Someone asked something, engage your intelligence in this. No? You should have questions. So many things we don't know. Right?
How can we serve God by doing all material?
Good question. Good question. This is a question asked by Arjuna to Krishna. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have to fight because this is your dharma. You're a kshatriya and you're at war and you have to fight. You can't avoid this. This is your dharma. Arjuna says, what? You just told me that I am beyond this dualities of material world. Why are you telling me to do my worldly duties? So Krishna teaches him the path of karma yoga. Karma yoga. This is different than karma. Karma means work. Basic understanding. Karma means work. Kam. Karma yoga means performing work for the satisfaction of Krishna. How do we do this? Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Yajñarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha tarartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. Karma bandhana. Yajñarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha. Loko yam karma. Work in this material world. Loko yam karma bandhanaha. It binds us. Bandhan. Bandhana. Karma binds us to this material world. But yajñarthat karmano nyatra. That work which is performed as a sacrifice, yajna, for Vishnu. One name of Vishnu is yajna. This is name of Vishnu. Work performed for the satisfaction of Krishna has opposite effect. It doesn't bind us, it liberates us. So, you have family, you have duties, you have university, studies, so many things come along with these things. We recognize these things. Although we don't necessarily agree with everything, we recognize, okay, you're in this situation, you have to do it. Do it for Krishna. This doesn't just mean I'm feeling like I'm doing this for Krishna. I'm doing my homework for Krishna. I'm studying my coding for Krishna. It's not just that we feel that we're doing it for Krishna. We practically do it as a service to Krishna. How do we do it as a service to Krishna? How do we go to our job in the office as a service to Krishna? What do we get at the job? What's the result of our karma? What's the karma phal from going to work? Anyone know? What's the karma phal of going to work? Why are we working? Tell me. The money, yeah. This is the karma phal. Offer this karma phal in the service of Krishna. Use your money to serve Krishna. In this way, your karma is no longer bandhana. It becomes mukta sanga samachara. It becomes a cause for liberation. This is karma yoga. Karma yoga is very difficult to perform in the modern age because just by going to work, you can very easily get distracted. Bad association. They'll tell you, oh, why are you using all your money for temples and bhakti and this and that? Why don't you come to the club with us? We can have some anand. Spend a little, give some money to Krishna, also give some money to Maya, no? Some anand, have some fun every once in a while. Your co-workers will say like this. That's the problem in the modern age. Therefore, Krishna has introduced Daiva Varnashrama Dharma, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasha. Pandit, I always need a pandit in my classes because I can speak one part of one verse, but I can't finish. Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasha. I always forget this part. Anyways, that's the most important part. Krishna says that I have divided the material societies into 4 divisions of spiritual and social orders. Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. This is not based on birth, like the modern man says. I'm born as a Brahmin. I am Brahmin family. Yeah, very old. Yeah. You are Shudra. You have to remain like that. This is not what Krishna has taught us. Varna is dependent on, not on janma, on guna and karma, one's qualities and activities. So therefore, Krishna has created a system by which everyone can be engaged in karma yoga and daiva varnashram dharma. Daiva means godly. Krishna is in the center. The problem in this modern caste system, which is so heavily, India has had so many problems with, is that Krishna was removed from the center. And material enjoyment was made in the center. That's when everything went away. So Krishna has given this system by which we can engage in karma yoga. We can work for Krishna practically. So another mission of our movement, Krishna consciousness movement, is to reestablish Daiva Varnashram Dharma, a society by which everyone can perform karma yoga very naturally. They don't have to go to the office. They don't have to go to these modern education universities. Simple life, simple living, high thinking. This is the lifestyle which Krishna is eternally living in Vrindavan. Krishna likes this lifestyle so much that he accepts it in Vrindavan. He becomes a cowherd boy. He's not some big Brahmin Pandit. He's not some big Vaishya, big money business wala. Krishna lives a happy life in Vrindavan, just taking care of his cows in the village with his friends. We want to have a society like this so that we can live happily in this life, dedicate everything for Krishna, and go back to Godhead in the future. So that's the basic answer. How to perform karma yoga in your personal life, that will depend on everybody's personal life. Therefore, one has to act under the guidance of a very expert devotee of Krishna. Devotee of Krishna knows what is pleasing to Krishna, and he will help you. Okay, going to work for this company is not so pleasing to Krishna, but we can make it pleasing to Krishna by doing like this. We can recommend some ways that you can engage in some service at your capacity. I know one very, very intelligent devotee. He's from South India. He he went to university, studied IT. He became a software engineer. He was making some software for one company, some inventory software, some basic, some coding that he was doing. Working like that. After many, many months, he came to find out what was the software for that he was coding. What was it for? A chicken slaughterhouse. Counting the numbers of chickens being slaughtered and organizing them in a very intelligent way. He's coming from a Brahmin family in South India. Very, very intelligent, very pious, devotee of Krishna. And he's working at his job, thinking, I'll do some karma yoga, offer the money to Krishna. Anyways, I'm not doing anything grossly sinful. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not doing intoxication. I'm not doing any of these sinful activities. I'm just pressing buttons on my computer. What's the harm? He was helping to kill so many chickens, and he didn't even know it. Still, in such a situation, you can do some service for Krishna. It's an unfortunate situation, but you can do some service for Krishna as much as you're able to. But for those who are very interested in pleasing Krishna, they mold their whole life around what is pleasing to Krishna. You can't do everything pleasing to Krishna by working in the slaughterhouse industries. And practically speaking, all of the modern industries are in some way, shape, or form connected with sinful life. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. So, but sometimes that's what you have to do. It's not the ideal, and we should strive for the ideal. Any other questions? No questions? If you don't have questions about Krishna consciousness, then your intelligence will be left with many questions to answer about material consciousness, no? We have many material questions. Oh, what will I do in 2-3 years from now? What kind of plans will I have? How much money? How will I get money? What will my wife look like? I wonder what kind of car I'm going to get. I'm going to just have a Maruti, or can I get some Mahindra or something? Oh, Benz? Mercedes Benz. That's what you're thinking, huh? We have such high aspirations. Our intelligence is being engaged like this. Have aspirations for spiritual life. Then these questions will come. If we don't have any desire to make advancement in spiritual life, then our intelligence will not be engaged. We'll go and engage our intelligence in the Rakshasa mandirs. If you're satisfied with this, with the ananda that they're willing to give you, then by no means, we're not forcing you. But I've already told you, this ananda is actually dukh. It's not ananda. Yes. Hello. Yes. Loud and clear. Yes. You know, preaching in India, Indian people ask really, really good questions. In America, people ask us questions like, so why is Krishna blue? It's like you don't have any other question, some practical question which is, pertinent to your current situation. I can explain to you something about why Krishna is blue, but don't you first want to understand who is Krishna first? Foolish questions they ask. Very good question. Indian boys ask very good questions. And I get this question a lot. And it's such a good question that the ideal disciple, who is the ideal disciple? There's many ideal disciples. One that's coming to my mind is Arjuna. He's the ideal disciple of the ideal guru, Krishna. Arjuna asked this question to Krishna. So lucky for you, Krishna answers this question in the Bhagavad Gita. If I was going to tell you, it would take me about 3 hours to recite the whole Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, and then to understand the translations and everything would take many, many, many lifetimes to understand everything. So I won't be able to answer your question fully now. I can recommend you to read Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and I can tell you the essence. Okay, I can try to satisfy you. So Arjuna says, yes, I understand what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but still, I feel this urge, some addiction. It's like it's hard for me to stop this. I've gone on for so long. I can't just hit the brakes and just immediately stop. It's like there's something driving me. What is this? How do I stop this? Good question. Krishna said, ultimately, Krishna explains, first of all, Arjuna says, why is this happening? What is this? Krishna says, Kam, not Hindi kam, work, kam, Sanskrit kam, lust, lusty desires, sinful desires, lust. Krishna says, it is lust only, Arjuna. Lust is your problem. You're lusty. Arjuna is not lusty, very dharmic. He's the husband of Subhadra. Probably had some other wives, but this is dharmic. It's not that he's a lusty dog loitering in the streets looking for sex life. Dharmic. But Krishna is saying, your problem is that you are lusty. That's your problem. What do you mean? I'm not doing sex life. No, this lust is very deeply rooted in the heart. And Krishna says it's living. There's different places where this lust is living. 3 different places. It's living in our senses, it's living in our mind, and it's living in our intelligence. All of our activities in this material world are driven by these 3 things. And as long as lust is sitting there in these things, all of our activities will be contaminated with our lusty desires. So, what do we do? First of all, identify the senses and the objects of the senses. The tongue and the object of the tongue. Food, something sweet, even speaking something, the tongue likes to speak nice things. This is sense gratification of the tongue. Just only speak some nonsense just for the sake of speaking. Each sense has its sense objects that they want to enjoy. And the senses are always pulling, like horses. We, Jivatma, sitting in the chariot, sitting in the rickshaw, or whatever. We're talking about horses, sitting in the chariot. 5 horses are there. Each one is one sense. Seeing, hearing, tasting, feeling, whatever. 5 horses are there. The reins are there. The ropes holding the horses, controlling the horses, those are also there. This is the mind. The mind is connected to the senses. And who is holding the reins? Who is driving the chariot? The intelligence. The soul. Remember, the soul is just sitting in the chariot. He's just riding. He's just the passenger. The intelligence is holding the reins. The reins are connected to the horses. The horses are going after their sense objects like anything. And the problem is, the sense objects for the eyes is different than the sense objects for the ears. And the sense objects for the ears is different for the sense objects of the mouth, the tongue, and the genitals, and the touch. They're all different. That means the horses are all going different ways. There's no union. So we're so disturbed. And we're not able to attain our goal. And we're sitting in the chariot, and we're in for a wild ride. Here and there. Woo, what do we do? How do we control the horses? First of all, what do you want to say something? Sorry? The reins. First of all, you need to make sure that your reins are strong enough, right? If you're pulling on the reins very hard, but your ropes are not strong enough, then it's useless. So the mind has to become very strong. And the intelligence has to be even stronger than the mind. And the intelligence has to know your destination. And you have to have a goal. And your intelligence ultimately has to control the mind, and your mind has to control your senses. And the intelligence has to be told by the Jivatma. You get into the rickshaw, what do you say? What is the first thing you say? What is it? He says, what's your destination? You say, I want to go Narmadapuram. Okay. Then he goes. Jivatma is the passenger. He tells the intelligence where to go. Most importantly, Jivatma. Next, intelligence. Next, mind. Next, senses. Next, sense objects. Seeing the difference between all these things and making sure they're in order. It's not that the mind can jump on top of the intelligence. Intelligence, this is the problem. Intelligence says, no, 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 no. Mind, don't do this. Krishna says this is wrong. Sadhu says this is wrong. Mother says this is wrong. Father says this is wrong. I know this is wrong. Intelligence says like this. Mind says, get out of my way. Stupid intelligence, you're useless. I need to enjoy my senses. You're a problem. Get out of the way. Mind becomes very strong like this, but it's strong in the wrong way. It needs to be under the intelligence. That is the secret. By development of intelligence. Like I opened the class by saying all of you are very intelligent. No. In one sense, you're very intelligent, but in another sense, your mind is treating you like a puppet. You're like a dancing dog in the hands of your futile mind. Spiritual intelligence is needed, not material intelligence, spiritual intelligence. So how does this come about? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, Vandanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmani Nivedanam. Processes of devotional service are given beginning from Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing, chanting Vishnu, about Krishna, about Vishnu. This is the secret. This will control the mind. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, cleanse the heart of this lust. Intelligence becomes fixed. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnam Tasvadam. Ananda. If we can do this, then we can actually be happy in spiritual life. We can be fixed in our purpose. Vyavasayadmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha. Vyavasayana, what is it? Buddhiyam, buddhi. Vyavasayanam. Vyavasayadmika buddhi, that means single-pointed intelligence. I know what I want and I'm gonna get it. Nothing can stop me, not even my mind, which is telling me so much nonsense. We have to remember, we're servants of Krishna, we're not servants of our mind. We've been serving our mind for so long, and what is the mind doing for us? Nothing, disturbing us more and more. The more we serve, the more disturbance. So become devotee of Krishna. Single-pointed intelligence. That is what is required. But, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam thaya parita chetasam vyavasayagnika buddhi samadho navidhiyate. What is it? Vyavasaya. Yes, samadho na vidhiyate. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Thaya Parita Chetasam. If our consciousness is absorbed in Bhoga, Aishwarya, everyone knows the meaning, right? Enjoyment, wealth, happiness, oh, beauty, such nice, oh. If this is what our consciousness is interested in, samadho na vidhiyate, we will not attain samadhi. Samadhi means becoming completely entranced in our service to Krishna, completely absorbed in our spiritual life, where we will not fall down. That's the point. We will not fall down. That is what Arjuna is asking to Krishna. How can I do this and not fall down? Intelligence, spiritual intelligence. This comes from developing taste and doing service for Krishna. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Upon attaining that higher taste, all lower tastes become very low class. It's even in material existence. Once you've tasted fruity, then you never want to drink water again. It tastes so nice. You experience a higher taste. So you've experienced a higher taste of Krishna Bhakti, you lose your taste for this so-called anand of this material world, sense gratification. You lose your taste. It's a natural process. Intelligence comes. It's a natural thing. It takes time. You have to be patient. Utsaha nishchaya dharya. Yes. Everyone's worried about mind control, right? Brainwashing. Yes. They think all of this Krishna consciousness is just mind control, brainwashing. In one sense, they're right. We're interested in controlling our mind. What is our mind doing? It's acting like a monkey, going here and there, looking for any way to go and enjoy some nonsense. It's brainwashing. Why is it brainwashing? Because we have so much nonsense in our brain. We have to wash it out. So yes, we're very interested in mind control and brainwashing, but not in that sense. So that's the answer in short. If you want the full thing from Krishna himself, you have to read Bhagavad Gita. You have to read it very seriously. Hearing plus contemplation leads to realization. So you're not just reading the book blindly and just just trying to memorize or something like this. You read it and you have to contemplate it. You see the cow in the street always chewing something, no? They're not eating it. What is it? It's not that they're eating it, but somehow they're always chewing, no? They call this rumination. Chewing the cud, ruminating, they're ruminating. The cow and other animals, they eat some grass, they chew it, swallow it, bring it back up, chew it some more, swallow it, bring it back up, chew it some more. We have to do this with our Krishna consciousness. Hear something, absorb it, bring it back, think about it, absorb it, like this. Just like the cow, always ruminating on these things, never forgetting these things. Okay, I'm told to please finish lecture so we can start kirtan. So thank you very much for being attentive and having good questions. And don't waste your youth. Don't waste your youth. There's a very nice song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's one of our gurus here. Second from the right. We have Jagannath Das Babaji far right. Second one is Bhaktivinoda Thakur here on Guru Parampara. He has a nice song called, what is that? Vidya Vilas. He's saying, I spent my whole life only interested in material knowledge. Yes, I got a good job. Yes, I got a nice family. Yes, I became a very important man in society. But now I'm an old man and I'm just realizing that I've neglected to worship Radha and Krishna. What will I do now? I've wasted my whole life. I could have done it since I was a young boy, but now I'm close to death. What will become of me? What is my destination? We don't want to end up in a situation like that. We don't want to live our life and then have regrets at the time of death. Yadyadvyapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tadthare vaiti kaunteya sara tad bhava bhavita. Whatever you're thinking at the time of death, that same condition will be carried on to your next life. If you're thinking of dollars and cents as an old man, if you're thinking of wife and children as an old man, if you're thinking of Mera Bharat Mahan as an old man, okay, take another birth in India, take another birth in America, take another birth. Continue trying to get money, continue trying to have nice family, continue trying to be an important man. You, okay, fine, take another birth, you can do that. But if we're thinking of Krishna, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatpataha tyaktva punar tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Krishna says that for one who knows the transcendental, divya, spiritual nature of my janma and karma, he will go back to the spiritual world after death. He will not have to attain punar janma in this material world over and over again, birth and death. So much suffering is here. Dukkha doshanam darshanam. Remember these points, ruminate on these points. And this way, this is the perfection of your youthful intelligence. You won't have this youthful intelligence for very long. Use it now. It's very easy to learn things now. In the future, it will be difficult just to remember your own phone number. I've seen it. Even dementia might come. It'll be difficult to remember your own name, your own family. When you're an old man, memory will be gone. So remember Krishna now. Remember Krishna for the rest of your life. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. We live by these two principles. Every other principle that we follow are only for the purpose of serving these two principles. Every single thing that we do. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Narmada Puram ki jai. Vanchaka Patru Yascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Vacha. Patitara Bhavane Vaishnavibhyo. Okay.